Imagine that you are standing on the bank of a mighty river, watching how the water bends around rocks, branches, and all obstacles in its path with incredible ease. She doesn't fight, she doesn't resist, she just moves forward, accepting every change as part of her path. Now think about it. How often in life do we face changes that unsettle us? We are fighting them hard, trying to keep everything under control, as if these changes are our enemy. But what if nature can show us a different way? In this video, we will reveal how the lessons that nature teaches us can teach us not to be afraid of changes, but to accept them with confidence and wisdom. You will learn why change is not something to avoid, but on the contrary, something that makes us stronger and wiser. Are you ready to learn how to stop being afraid of change and start living a full life? Then watch to the end. This story will open for you a new look at the very essence of the changes. Nature lessons. How to accept changes and stop being afraid of them. Every day nature teaches us amazing lessons. Its constant movement and cycles are not chaos, but a deeply thought-out mechanism in which every change has its own meaning. The seasons change, the trees shed their leaves, the water flows, even the mountains slowly but steadily change their shape. Every change is part of something bigger, and that's the key thought we need to embrace. One of the most striking examples of nature is the change of seasons. Spring turns into summer, autumn follows summer, winter wraps everything in snow, and then spring comes again. Each season has its own beauty, and each of them is an integral part of life on Earth. No one can stop the changing of the seasons, just as no one can stop the changes in life. But instead of being afraid of winter, plants and animals prepare for it in advance. Trees shed their leaves, animals stock up on food or go into hibernation. It's not resistance, it's adaptation. Like the changing seasons, there will always be periods of change in our lives. Perhaps it's a job change, a change in relationships, or even a move to another city. As in nature, each cycle of change brings its own lessons and opportunities for growth. By accepting this natural course of events, we can learn not to be afraid of the unknown, but to see it as a chance for something new. The river is one of the most powerful symbols of changes in nature. The water in the river is constantly moving. It does not resist obstacles, but bends around them. The river knows that every obstacle in its path is temporary, and it will still find a way forward. How often do we humans get stuck in one place when faced with difficulties? We get hung up on the fact that there is a barrier in front of us, forgetting that there is always another way. The river teaches us that we need to be flexible in life. Change is not always a loss. Sometimes it is an opportunity to take a new, more correct path. When an obstacle arises in front of you, instead of resisting and wasting your strength, try to get around it. Maybe the new path will be even better than the old one. The water does not try to destroy the stone in its path. It calmly flows around it, knowing that space awaits it further. It's the same in life. When we face difficulties, we need to learn to be flexible, look for new opportunities, and move forward. When autumn comes, the trees shed their leaves. At first glance, this may seem like a loss, but in fact it is the beginning of preparation for a new cycle. The leaves, falling to the ground, decompose and become a nutritious soil for the tree. Without this process, the tree would not be able to regain strength and give new foliage in the spring. Thus, leaf fall is not just the end, it is a preparation for new growth. In life, we must also be able to let go of what has already served its purpose in order to make room for a new one. Sometimes it can be a job that no longer brings joy, a relationship that has exhausted itself, or even old habits and worldviews. Like a tree, we must shed the leaves of the past in order to have the strength for future growth. It's not easy, but every time we let go of something old, we open the door to something new and more important in our lives. Nature is not only constantly changing, but also recovering from shocks. After a strong storm, the forest may seem destroyed. Trees are felled, grass is trampled, water has spilled over the plain. But after a while, everything is restored. The trees grow back, new shoots begin to break through the soil. Life continues on its way. The storm was only a temporary test, and nature, with its amazing ability to recover, is going through it, becoming even stronger. Each of us faces our own storms in life. Job loss, relationship breakdown, health problems. These events may seem like the end of the world, but nature teaches us that these are only temporary difficulties. We can recover as a forest recovers after a storm. The main thing is to believe in your ability to heal and not be afraid of difficulties. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "What doesn't kill us makes us stronger." And nature is the best confirmation of these words. There are many examples of amazing adaptations to changing conditions in the animal world. Camouflage, migration, and changing eating habits are just some of the strategies that animals use to survive in the face of change. A polar bear, for example, changes its diet and behavior depending on the season and environmental conditions. Birds migrate thousands of kilometers to find the best conditions for life and reproduction. As in the animal world, in our lives, successful survival often depends on how ready we are to adapt. When conditions change, resistance only makes life more difficult. But if we learn flexibility, if we are ready to change our behavior, habits, or attitudes, we can not only survive, but also thrive in new conditions. Animals are not afraid of changes, they use them to their advantage. And we should take an example from them. How nature teaches us the art of living in harmony with change. Every day we can see how nature accepts and uses change for its own good. Everything in nature is a lesson in how to live in harmony with the world and not fight it. Change is inevitable, but it should not be a source of fear. We can learn, like nature, to accept them as part of our life story, as a step on the way to something more. Every storm brings with it new opportunities. Every leaf fall is a preparation for future growth. Every river shows us that flexibility and adaptation are the key to moving forward successfully. We can draw inspiration from these natural processes and adopt their wisdom in order to live more consciously and freely. Our life is like a river that flows through all obstacles. Our difficulties are the leaves that we shed in order to bloom again. So why not learn from nature? Why not accept that change is not an enemy, but a teacher? If this video has inspired you to embrace the changes in your life and see them as a new chance for growth, please like and subscribe to our channel. Share your stories in the comments, how the changes helped you, or perhaps what prevents you from accepting them. Together we learn from nature how to live a full life and not be afraid to move forward.